2-0. And we will get to those players, the big five, I imagine, over the next couple of rounds here. Well, we'll start with two named players who have a lot of success on the Open Series here in Brown and Cook, underway with an Underground C and a Ponder in round number 3.
And for those of you who are still learning a bit about Legacy, the point of the Storm deck here is generate a bunch of Dark Ritual effects and try to resolve either ad nauseum, draw a whole bunch of cards, or pass in flames, loop the whole thing back, and use Infernal Tutor to bridge the gap here and find the cards you're looking for, and set up a big Tendrils of Agony kill.
The Ponder's done resolving. Here's a Gataxian Probe from Brown, targeting Cook. We'll see Cook's hand. You've got an Underground Sea, a Bloodstained Mire, a Brainstorm, a Burning Wish, a Dark Ritual, and another copy of Brainstorm. Cook's cards always beautiful as he does lay them out.
And this is the type of hand where, well, it looks like nothing's really going on, but those Brainstorms looks at a lot of different potential combo pieces, and so it's a slower hand, but one with a lot of resilience.
I mean, could very easily have a turn 3 kill here.
Though on the other side of the table, Max knows that the coast is clear. There's no discard spells, no counter spells, and his deck is capable of killing very quickly as well.
Max's draw was a copy of Enter the Infinite. You see his hand, there's a City of Traders, a Misty Rainforest. I believe a Show and Tell hiding out there as well. Even looks like a Lotus Petal, so he could go off as fast as turn 1, but he's just going to play a Misty and pass that turn back over to Cook. Cook will draw a card. It's a Brainstorm to start. We'll see if this does resolve, and it will. So 3 cards coming. I'll have to put 2 back. We know he's got a Bloodstained Mire in hand, so it'll be a perfect Brainstorm. As Cook is looking to set up for a big turn and a big win here in game number 1. Brainstorm looks to be one of the cards that's going back. Looks like he picked up a copy of Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond in this Brainstorm.
I mean, this is a hand that's capable of going for it potentially right now. Now, I don't know if Brian's going to be willing to pull the trigger, but if he knows that Max is on Omnitel, he may just say, well, it's not getting any better.
Yeah. And if you know Max and you know his track record in Legacy, he's always playing a deck like this.
Mm-hmm. Now, often, decks like Omnitel are at least playing 4 copies of Force of Will, but Brian might feel like he has a deck that can, a hand that can power through Force of Will, or he might feel like he just doesn't have that much time and has to go for it.
Bloodstained Mire got sacrificed. Here's a Gataxian Probe from Cook. Maybe he wants to see if the coast is clear.
If he's casting a Gataxian Probe and shuffling away a Brainstorm, I think that means Brian's intending on going for a kill this turn.
And the Infinite Force of Will, Brainstorm, Show and Tell, Lotus Petal, City of Traders, and Scalding Tarn are the cards here for Brown. So perhaps Cook will have to pump the brakes a little bit here.
And so if Brian has a hand capable of going for the kill, essentially Max has the opportunity to Brainstorm and look for a Force of Will through 3 copies. And with those kind of odds, Brian might say, I'll pull the trigger here and go for it.
All right, mystery card coming here for Cook. Does have another copy of Brainstorm, so he's going to cast that right now. 3 more cards coming. 2, of course, will have to go back. Bryant has been at it for a long time with this Storm deck. Every time we see him in Legacy, this is what he's playing. He's never deviated.
He is more committed to this deck than I think any other regular Open Series player we see.
Yeah, we've even seen someone like Joe Lissette kind of waver to Reanimator for a little while at the end of last year and the beginning of this year.
I don't know the last time I've seen Reed play a deck other than Miracles. It's been a while, but I know it's more recently than the last time I've seen Brian play anything else, if I've ever seen him play anything else.
I don't think I've ever seen him play anything else. He loves this strategy and has had a lot of success with it. He may not always be the one holding the trophy in the tournament, but we've never seen him go, just went 2 and 3 with Storm. Tournament's over. It's never happened. He's always making a deep run. Here's a Brainstorm. Omniscience, Burning Wish, Preordain, the cards that have been picked up by Brown. So 2 cards will have to go back. Looks like he's selecting both of his fetch lands to go back. Brainstorm is done resolving. There's a City of Traders. Here's a Lotus Petal. Somebody's trying to go off right now. Show and Tell.
Yeah, I think he's got Omniscience plus Enter the Infinite, so.
Burning Wish 2. Omniscience will come in. There's Enter the Infinite. Whole deck's coming to the grip. One will go on the bottom. He's going to cast a bunch of spells now. Omniscience #2 just to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Typically, a combo in Magic is drawing a bunch of cards and having a lot of mana. And Omniscience plus Enter the Infinites is the most souped-up version of that combination you can possibly imagine.
There's Emrakul. Bryant is not going to play anymore. Max Brown's going to win game number 1 here over Bryant Cook. Omnitel is up a game over Storm as we turn our attention to the sideboards. We will start with the Storm board, and given that Bryant is playing Burning Wish, you're going to find a healthy amount of singletons here.
Exactly. Most of these are dedicated to his Burning Wish slots. He's got 3 copies of Abrupt Decay, 3 copies of Xantid Swarm, 2 copies of Chain of Vapor, a Void Snare, a Thoughtseize, a Grape Shot, an Empty the Warrant, a Tendrils of Agony, a Massacre, and a Pass in Flames. So the Pass in Flames is in the sideboard this weekend. He's playing 1 copy of Empty Wardens in the main deck. I really don't see any sideboarding going on here besides the 3 copies of Xantid Swarm. If Max is interacting, it's with counter spells. That's pretty much all of his deck can bring to the table. And Xantid Swarm is very good against decks that can't kill creatures whose only mode of interaction is counter spells, and that's likely what Max has on the table. So besides that, I don't see anything else being brought in.
Max has Burning Wish 2, so he's got 3 Defense Grid, 3 Young Pyromancer, 2 Leyline of Sanctity, 2 Pyroclasm, a Show and Tell to wish for, along with an Air in the Infinite, a Spiraling Embers, a Tremor, and a Time of Need. Some real doozies to wish for in this board.
Yeah, although I think some of this is a function of having some of it's a wish package and some of it's nice to just have ways to get out of random spots once you've drawn your whole deck.
Yes.
So there's odd ones here. I am not really that interested in anything he has in his sideboard.
I kind of like the Ley Lines because you're against a discard deck, but
Yeah, I
not,
guess Ley Lines
not like
okay.
a ton.
Yeah.
I do like these. Spiraling Embers. Huh? You remember? Do you know what set that's from?
Is that Saviors of Kamigawa?
Very nice. Very nice. I am truly impressed.
Little known fact, that is the block I've drafted more than any other block, and it is not close.
Kamigawa block?
Yeah.
I drafted that block a lot. You top 8 at Grand Prix in that format.
Yeah,
In Detroit.
Yeah, top 8 at the Grand Prix, came in 9th at the Team Pro Tour, and then 0-3 the last draft to not cash instead of possibly top 8 Pro Tour London.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
I have some history with that format.
That is nice. It was a good format, actually. I enjoyed it.
I think it's one of those things where I wouldn't enjoy it now, but at the time I really enjoyed it.
Some of those cards have made a return, too, in Modern Masters, too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
old Waxy.
Waxmane Baku is back?
Waxmane Baku is back?
Did they bring back Kabuto Moth?
No.
Scuttling Death?
Sculling Death is back.
Oh,
Yeah.
might have to cancel that move.
Yeah.
Drive out in the desert.
Old Scuttlebutt. They brought back Soul Shift and everything.
Yep.
So that's going to be a little bit of fun there. I'm really looking forward to doing that, actually.
He Who Hungers?
That's not back. We're going to talk about regionals really quick. It's happening on August 1st. You see the sweet playmat that's available, and we'll have the locations and the dates and all that stuff for you guys pretty soon.
Yeah, it's approaching fast. The summer and the winter we do our regional championships, so it's not necessarily available in every state, but as we get closer to the event, we will post the venues. There's usually one within driving distance, no matter where you are in the United States. StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information, and this is the available playmat for that event.
A playoff of Ellen DeGeneres' Oscar photos. Here's a Gataxian Probe on turn number 1 from Cook. You see Brown's hand, a Dig Through Time, an Air of the Infinite, a Burning Wish, a Pyroclasm, a Brainstorm, a Show and Tell, and just a Scalding Tarn. The Pyroclasm here, so he doesn't lose to Empty the Warrens.
Xantid Swarm and Empty the Warrens. It's pretty good against both. And Brian's the type of deck here where, because the matchup's so fast, he may try to do things like, all right, turn 1, I'll empty for 14 or 12 and hope that's good enough to kill you. And Pyroclasm is a pretty good answer to that. I thought there was a chance Max would just shuffle up and present his same 60, but I don't mind bringing in the Pyroclasms here.
And maybe he brought like 1 in and then left 1 on the board to wish for.
Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable if he did that.
Cook will play a Bloodstained Mire. Can he do anything crazy this turn? Does have that copy of Xantid Swarm in hand right now. See his hand also Infernal Tutor, a Burning Wish, a Brainstorm hanging out.
Well, the big problem here is he kind of has to choose what color of mana he wants to have. If he wants to cast that Xantid Swarm, that means he has to go search for his 1 copy of Bayou. At that point, you don't have access to red or blue mana, which you may feel are more critical. So I think Brian's probably just going to take a draw step here, hopefully finds a land or can cantrip into a land, and that will give him a little more information what to find with the Bloodstained Mire.
Volcanic Island, the weapon of choice here for Brown. Looks like we're going to have a ponder, and we will. So Brown will take a look at a couple of cards. And he'll consult the grip here before he's done resolving this ponder.
But the first couple of turns of the game can be pretty long in terms of actual minutes, because these players have to sculpt out their hands and figure out what they had to play around, if anything. But it all builds up into a pretty fast kill on one side of the table or the other.
Cataxian Probe will be cast now. Here is Cook's hand. You see the Infernal Tutor, the Brainstorm, the Burning Wish, Cabal Therapy along with Xantid Swarm, and another copy of Cataxian Probe. So that's part of the reason Bryant's turn after the probe took a little while, because he was trying to decide if I should probe again, should I play the Swarm? His mana is being pulled in a lot of different directions. He only has one land.
Exactly, and I think Brian's kind of taking this plan of, I'm going to take a draw step, I'm going to probably cast the Cataxian Probe in my hand. Hopefully with those two draws, I find a land. That will give me the information of what I want to fetch for with Bloodstained Mire. Then I can cast Xantid Swarm if it's appropriate. Maybe I can actually go for the kill, depending on how things line up, but...
I'm going to sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. Maybe we'll see a Brainstorm in a turn.
I thought that Brian was going to take the line of play of draw, Cataxian Probe, and then go from there, but he might feel like he just doesn't have enough time. That he has to Brainstorm, maybe put down the Xantid Swarm and try to go for a kill next turn.
He does know his opponent does have Show and Tell in hand.
Yeah.
So he could die very, very quickly. So here is the Brainstorm. I think Lotus Petal, one of the cards. He'll shuffle his hand a little bit, decide what he wants to put back, then we'll move forward to his turn.
And Brian might just be saying, well, I can't beat a turn 2 kill with Force of Will backup, so I have to try to beat the turn 2 kill that I know about or is likely there and ignore Force of Will and just try to go for a kill.
Cabal Therapy. We'll get a name here in just a moment. Of course, Cook did cast a probe last turn, so he's got an idea of what Brown's working with. Looks like he's going to name Show and Tell. You see Brown's hand. He's got that Dig Through Time, the End of the Infinite, Pyroclasm, Burning Wish, Brainstorm, and Volcanic Island. So poking a hole by taking Show and Tell.
Now things have really slowed down on Max's side of the table.
Yeah.
Not threatening anything immediately. He does have the ability next turn to Burning Wish for Show and Tell, but he doesn't have enough mana to necessarily go for it the turn after.
And it's funny to say things have slowed down, because by Burning Wishing for Show and Tell and maybe drawing on missions for the turn, things speed right back up.
Yeah. But
just the nature of the format.
It's a brief reprieve for Brian at any rate.
Yeah.
You're not going to get killed next turn.
You feel safe-ish.
You may get killed 2 turns from now, but next turn you're probably in the clear.
Cook in a search of a Bayou with his Polluted Delta. Oh, you might see the Busy Bee now. There is Xantid Swarm.
And I like playing the Swarm here because if Mac wants to go and untap and cast Pyroclasm, it means he's not casting Burning Wish next turn.
Yeah, you're happy with that.
And if he casts Burning Wish, it means if you draw a combination of cards that allows you to go for the kill, you don't have to worry about a Force of Will off the top.
Yep.
So Brian's kind of happy in either way. Or
he's going to sacrifice and cast Cabal Therapy. Didn't see this coming, but he's going to take Brainstorm and basically force Max to draw perfect.
Yeah.
Do you like that use of the Swarm there?
No, I love it. I
Okay.
mean, Max got no counter spells, and he kind of needs to draw. He needs to draw mana plus action in a pretty short time frame. It's asking a lot.
Here's Burning Wish.
And if Max has the Pyroclasm, might as well just strand that in his hand as a dead card rather than have to play through it in any way.
I think we'll see him grab Show and Tell. And there it is. Now, there are some ups and downs to playing Burning Wish in this type of strategy. You only have 3 Show and Tells in your main deck. You have a virtual 7, but it's certainly not the same as actually having 4 in your main deck.
Right. It's a bit slower. There's going to be spots where you're more vulnerable to Wasteland as a result. Certainly, you're not thrilled playing against Cabal Therapy when
Yep.
you're Burning Wishing and saying go.
Cataxian Probe. Is it go time? Another probe. Feels like it's go time. Burning Wish has been picked up for the turn.
You can see Lotus Petal plus Lion's Eye Diamond in Brian's hand, so he's got a lot of mana to work with. And Infernal Tutor as well.
Mm-hmm. Here's Brainstorm. You can kind of feel it. It seems like he's almost there.
this might be one of those spots where if he picks up something like Dark Ritual, he can go for it this turn. And if he doesn't, he can go for it next turn with all of his mana.
Yep. Tendrils of Agony looks like a card that's going back. Burning Wish 2. Now he's doing that. See that? When I'm on the other side of the table and they're doing that with the hands, the counting, I know I'm dead.
Yeah. I've had this happen to me from Bryant before.
Yeah. When he's doing the counting, I'm not feeling good about things. He wants to make sure, as much experience that he does have with this deck, he just wants to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. Make sure I've got the kill rolled up and get ready for game number 3. It seems like he might be there. There's a Volcanic Island. Here's a Dark Ritual. This looks like it's going to be an Infernal Tutor. Going to reveal Lion's Eye Diamond. That means he gets to get another one of those. See the storm count there of 4. It's going to go up to 5. Some black mana floating with our handy dandy little counters there.
Which I think might have actually been inspired by Bryant.
Yeah.
He had some dice and some colored dice, and so he could track the mana on camera here.
Lion's Eye Diamond spell 6. Lion's Eye Diamond spell 7. Burning Wish. Crack those Lion's Eye Diamonds in response to spell number 8. I don't think he wants Massacre. I think he wants Tendrils of Agony. Spell 9. 9 times 2, still 18 after all this time, and maxes at 17.
So that's a key interaction of the deck. You see Lion's Eye Diamond there being used in the combo, and you may look at Lion's Eye Diamond and say, well, how exactly are you supposed to do anything with this card because you lose your entire hand? Some key interactions with this deck are you can play Lion's Eye Diamond and cast Infernal Tutor. In response, sack Lion's Eye Diamond. Then when the Infernal Tutor resolves, it's just Demonic Tutor. You're hellbent, so you can tutor for whoever you want to. Often that leads to a kill. The other action that you just saw there was Burning Wish. You can cast Burning Wish, in response sacrifice your Lion's Eye Diamonds. Then you discard your hand, but then you have a bunch of mana floating. You resolve your Burning Wish. You go get whatever your kill is, in that case Tendrils of Agony, and win the game that way. So Lion's Eye Diamond, a little awkward in this deck. You may look at it on the surface and say, how does it facilitate those kind of kills? But with Burning Wish or Infernal Tutor, sometimes with Past in Flames as well on the flashback, can be very potent. A much maligned card when it was released, but now a key player in a variety of legacy combo decks.
Expensive, too.
Yeah.
I think it's not cheap.
It was, when it was released, universally laughed. But that's kind of the nature of large formats. A lot of cards that may not be playable in small formats. And listen, if you put Lion's Eye Diamond in standard, most standard formats it would be completely unplayable.
Yeah.
But
including this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Most standard formats you would not be able to do anything powerful with Lion's Eye Diamond. But as the card pool gets larger and larger, some of those cards become very, very good. You just saw it on display there.
Let's talk about our spring creature collection very quickly before we do get ready for game number 3. We've taken some of the things from game night and we've put them on a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. You see our April, May, and June kits there, the kitten, the bee, and the bunny, and the Delver's Squeakrits, all available on card sleeves, playmats, and dice bags. StarCityGames.com/creature collection to order your items today, or you can head at the dealer booth at any of our opens or Grand Prix that we're vending at.
The cat, the most popular of this
shocker
of this group. Cats, they just sell.
I don't
That's just how it works.
have a background in marketing, but I could have told you that.
Well, you should get one. You know more than you think.
Yeah.
Trust me. The bee actually is surprisingly popular too.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised by that.
I have a master's in marketing specializing in wide-eyed kittens.
Nice. So you're rich is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and I am just richer than you can imagine.
Yeah. Game number 3 going to be underway here between Max Brown and Bryant Cook in just a moment. But if you are just joining us, appreciate having you. Center Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, along with Nick Miller in the sideboard and the rest of the SCG Live crew, bringing you legacy action here from Worcester, Massachusetts. At SCG Live, hashtag SCGWOR all weekend long for your tweets as we make it through 9 rounds today, 6 tomorrow before cutting to a top 8. We'll crown ourselves a champion and give someone $5,000, 25 Open Series points, and an invite to our Season 2 Invitational. That is right around the corner, just 2 weeks away in Columbus at the Origins Game Fair. Things are really starting to pick up right now as we're, oddly enough, making our way through the spring, almost the summer. Year's going by quick again.
Season 2, very short.
Yep.
Season 3 is going to be a lot longer, but we're taking the week off next week for all the Modern Masters Grand Prix, and then after that, Season 2 Invitational in Columbus. And then after that, Grand Prix Charlotte.
Yeah.
So we got some big events right around the corner.
I'm looking forward to all of them. Bryant Cook looking forward to a good 7 cards, as is Max Brown. Brown will be on the play here. See if he finds something he likes. Remember, former Invitational champion is Max Brown. And Omnitel certainly helped him in the legacy portion of that Invitational in Las Vegas in 2013. Looks like he will take a mulligan.
Has to be aggressive mulliganing in these kind of matchups since, you know, you just die.
You can die on turn 1?
Yep.
Yeah. Something else you don't see in Standard.
No.
Probably for the best. As frustrating as Siege Rhino may be.
In Standard, your opponent has a turn 1 Foundress Denizen, and you're thinking, like, oh man, I'm already under the gun. Like, I just gotta find some kill spells. I hope they don't have a Dragon Fodder next turn. Legacy, it's quite a bit different.
Are you saying the Foundry Denizen is not good in Legacy?
If any of the Standard 1 drops were good in Legacy, it would probably be that one, since you could build some sort of weird combo-ish deck with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, buddy.
But no, it would not be good. I guess Zergo could potentially be inclusion for Burn. I doubt it, but
It's probably okay.
it's not unreasonable.
Max going to keep his 6. Bryant's on his 7. Going to start off with a Scalding Tarn. Cook will take a draw. You can see Brown's hand, a couple of red cards there. Those are Burning Wishes.
So what I like from Max's side of the matchup is he has access to Force of Will, and that's really important. But you can see that Bryant's deck is almost all engine, and Max's deck's got a lot of clunkers in it.
That could have been a devastating Cabal Therapy. But Show and Tell was the name.
I like naming Show and Tell because it facilitates a kill on turn 2 that Bryant can do nothing about.
Yep. I think it's the correct name. Don't get me wrong. Just saying it could have been a devastating Cabal Therapy. He does have another copy of Cabal Therapy in hand, but no Lotus Petal. So just a passing of the turn back over to Brown. Brown picked up a copy of Flusterstorm. There's another Scalding Tarn. Sacrifice both of those, go down to 18. I imagine we'll see some Volcanic Islands in just a moment and a Burning Wish be cast. There's one Volk. There is the second one.
And these Cabal therapies have been a nightmare for Max thus far.
Yeah. Very, very potent card in this matchup.
Because if he Burning Wishes for Show and Tell, and Brian has a follow-up Cabal therapy or a creature to flash it back, Max may not have really anything good left to Burning Wish for, even with the second copy in hand.
Yep.
It's likely he's only got the one Show and Tell in the sideboard. He wouldn't board any of them out. And so he may really struggle to do anything with this additional copy of Burning Wish.
Oh, there's the Show and Tell. Brown will play a Lotus Petal, pass the turn back. May look like an innocent-looking Lotus Petal, but that helps with Flusterstorm. There's a Cabal Therapy. Probably are forced to Flusterstorm this.
Max, the other side of this is Max can say, with Dig Through Time and Flusterstorm in hand, I can play a, quote, longer game.
Sure.
Try to keep Brian from killing me. And because at this point, the Show and Tell isn't even worth very much. Max has nothing to do with it. So I think he just has to let it go.
And he did. Therapy resolved. Show and Tell bites the dust. Flusterstorm, Burning Wish, and Dig Through Time in grip. If I'm Cook, I'm still feeling good about my position here.
Usually, Storm can power through, one counterspell like that. He's not under any immediate pressure. Max is pretty far away from casting the Dig Through Time. But Brian doesn't want to wait here all day, because when Max gets to cast his copy of Dig Through Time, it's likely to end in a sequence where he untaps and kills Brian. So,
well, Brainstorm's never a bad draw. Dream Halls, Preordain, and Scalding Tarn are the cards that have been picked up here for Brown. So he'll have to put 2 back, but not a bad time for a Brainstorm.
Not at all. And Scalding Tarn, that's another card for the graveyard here. And now Bryant may have to move a little bit faster than maybe he was hoping for before, because Max is going to, by the time this turn is all said and done, represent the ability to Dig Through Time next turn. And that, again, is likely to lead to a kill that Bryant can interact with while it's happening. So Bryant may have to try to kill through a Flusterstorm over the course of 2 turns. Not the easiest thing to do necessarily.
Let's see what cards he wants to put back. Looks like Dream Hall's maybe one. Perhaps Burning Wish the others. You mentioned, additional copies of Burning Wishes aren't all that great. Just because, you know, you get to wish for show and tell with the first one, but what are you wishing for with the second one?
Exactly. Tremor, Splitting Earth, Time of Need.
All real doozies.
Yeah.
There's a Scalding Tarn passing the turn back. There's a Brainstorm for Cook. We'll draw 3 cards, have to put 2 back here in just a moment. Duress among the cards that Bryant has found. That's a big one. I'd want to get a look at his hand too now. Looks like a couple of lands are going back on top of the deck. Brainstorm is done resolving. Is it Duress time? It's Cataxian Probe time first. See if he even needs to Duress. You see the hand, a Dig Through Time, a Flusterstorm, and a Dream Pulse.
Yeah, I think Bryant has to set up a Duress or Cabal Therapy this turn because of the Dig Through Time.
Probe is done resolving. Cook will draw. Picked up a copy of Pluto Delta. He's going to sacrifice that, go down to 17. Search for a land. It'll be an Underground Sea. Cook looking pretty comfortable with how things are going right now. Perhaps that Duress. How about a Cabal Therapy instead?
Yeah, because this way you can lead with the therapy. If Max decides to dig through time in response, you can name the Flusterstorm that you know about and then Duress whatever his good action is.
Well, here comes Flusterstorm to go after the discard spell. That will resolve. The follow-up is a Duress. Looks like Max is going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn, get a land out of his deck, cast a Dig Through Time, but Duress is still going to be good this turn.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And Max has to blow up his Lotus Petal too. So he's down quite a bit of mana. And he gets to take 2 spells here, but Brian gets to strip the more valuable of the 2. Now the other side of the table here, if you're in Max's shoes, what you're happy about here is Brian's using a lot of cards here to attack your hand. It makes it less and less likely he can follow up with a kill next turn.
Well, you certainly hope so.
So all you can hope for now is that you dig through time, you find 2 really powerful pieces of action. Brian has to take one of them, leaves you with at least a cantrip or maybe a combo piece, and then you're drawing live for a couple turns to find the missing piece of the puzzle.
A couple copies of Young Pyromancer have been found here, along with Enter the Infinite, copy of Omniscience, a Ponder, a Brainstorm. So perhaps we're taking a little Pyromancer action here, maybe?
I mean, two Young Pyromancers is kind of funny. I think that clock may be a little bit slow.
A touch.
I think the other path here is you just take Ponder Brainstorm.
Sure. Don't really think you can afford to take Omniscience or Into the Infinite in this situation. Just don't think they do all that much.
Right, against a Duress here, you either need to go down the creature route or you need to go down the cantrip route. You can't take a combo piece. That doesn't do anything for you.
Looks like 2 Young Pyromancers will be the selection.
All right. I mean, this is the most fun option, so.
I'm not unhappy.
Yeah, I'm not displeased.
Duress is going to resolve. Dream Halls is going to bite it. Young Pyromancer is in hand. Cook's Storm count is up to 5, but I don't know if he can go any further than that.
No mana floating in a 3-card hand. I would be surprised if there is anything to follow this up.
Brown will draw. Young Pyromancer. Pass that turn back. A different plan here for the former Invitational champion.
The road less traveled.
Indeed. Now, Brown's draw last turn was a copy of Show and Tell. He can rebuild pretty quickly here.
Just put that Young Pyromancer into play.
Get a token.
Get a token for your trouble.
It's Burning Wish here for Cook. That will resolve. He'll go search through his sideboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, registration is open for the two-headed
What would
giant
Mr. Cook like?
sealed event at 2
Go the
p.m.
Ponder.
This is Dragons of Tarkir.
Go through all the bags of tricks here.
Yep.
Two-headed giant.
Did not expect to see one of those hide out on the
Sign up
board.
For that, you and a friend.
Couple copies of Xantus Worm and a Lotus Petal. This
$40 for the
feels
team,
like a shuffle.
$20
Yep.
per person.
And it is.
Again, two-headed giant registration is open at side events.
Well, we've seen some interesting plays so far this weekend. The Ponder moved to the board to wish for.
Thanks to a lot of cantrips.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he dilutes his deck so much with Xantus Worms and things like that where this sort of play might be necessary. Here comes Young Pyromancer. Cook's going to go down to 15. I believe Brown drew another copy of Young Pyromancer, so here's one.
I'm now really hoping that Brian's, I guess he does not have Pyroclasm. I'm really hoping now the Massacre comes into play.
Yeah, have to wish for that. Cook is going to sacrifice a Bloodstained Mire.
I feel like one way or the other, the game gets determined before we get to that spot, but I can hold out hope.
Ryan Sandrin and Andrew Couture. Ryan
Let's see what
Sandrin
fetch
and
land,
Andrew
excuse me,
Couture,
what
please
dual
please
land he'd
work
like.
over.
He's going to get himself a Volcanic Island. He'll shuffle up and present here in just a moment, see how he wants to move forward. Both players kind of fumbling and stumbling. We saw some crazy stuff. I think we might see some crazy stuff now. Here's a Rite of Flame. There's a Dark Ritual.
I think Max might be dead.
There's no more fumbling and stumbling here. Infernal Tutor.
I mean, at least Max got in for some damage last turn. That helps.
Yeah, it's something.
He has to go. Brian has to go for the ad nauseum kill, though I don't think he's going to have to do that.
Storm count of 3.
Okay. Looks like ad nauseum it is.
Yeah.
Got a lot of mana floating, 14 light to play with. A good spot, by no means a lock.
No, by no means a lock. We've seen some strange things with Ad Nauseam. Excuse me, the storm count of 4 with a little bit of mana floating. So here's Ad Nauseam, no mana floating. Spell 5. All right, folks, it's showtime. This works out a pretty high percentage of the time. No guarantees, however. And now we are underway. Rite of Flame puts you to 13. Chrome Mox, Ponder puts you to 12.
Hitting the mana to open up here is so big.
Yeah, Lion's Eye Diamond, Ponder puts you to 11. LED, Chrome Mox, Brainstorm will put you to 10. Cataxian Pro will put you to 9. Lotus Petal will keep you the same. Lion's Eye Diamond number 3. Brainstorm, that'll put you to 8.
This has been a close to ideal ad nauseum so far. Brian's still missing a way to actually win the game, but a lot of mana to jumpstart with and a lot of cantrips.
Pro will put you to 7. Dark Ritual will put you to 6. Wish will put you to 4.
I think that may do it.
Feels like Wish is good enough.
He's just got so much mana to work with here.
Looks like he's going to stop there. Hasn't played a land yet this turn, so he'll start by playing a Swamp. Isn't even going to bother picking up these cards. Going to play a Lotus Petal. That's spell 6. Chrome Mox will be spell 7. He'll imprint Cataxian Probe onto that. Chrome Mox will be spell 8. He'll imprint Ponder onto that. He'll cast Cataxian Probe with some mana. And Max Brown has seen enough. Bryant Cook is going to win this match 2-1 over Max Brown. Storm will take care of Omnitel. And for Cook, it's just another day at the office with the Storm deck.
Yeah, the discard spells did a lot of work in those games, and Brian gave himself, in games 1 and 3 at least, a little bit of extra time there, and then killed pretty easily. Or the discard spells just super hard for Max to beat.
They're really, really good against Max's deck. And I think that's just how it's going to be. Against a slower combo deck, discard's going to be good, but discard's good against any combo deck.
And Max, his deck, you saw kind of all these disparate pieces coming together.
Yep.
When he's not contested or he has a force of will, he can push that stuff through very quickly and win the game, as we saw in the game that he won. But